We start with some mundane stuff, which is permutation combinations in mathematics. And through the year, we'll have permutation combinations of life. Right? And I wish you great success with all permutation combinations of life and success with permutation combinations in mathematics too. Right? So the sheet title, permutation combination, right there. We've spent a little while trying to understand the basic tenets of permutations combinations. We've solved a few problems as well. We've, in a certain sense, got the essence of how to count, the modes of counting, and what would be referred to as a mode of counting, right? Now, with all of these things under our kitty, we are ready to take on to some more problem solving, as would be illustrated by these bunch of problems. Nothing difficult about them, very fundamental, and very true to the spirit of counting. So the first problem of the sheet, is about 3 points O, which is the origin, A having coordinates 102, 0, B having coordinates 0, 102, a point on the y-axis. What we want to do is, we want to be able to count all points P inside the triangle. We want to be able to count all points P inside the triangle, x, y, that are integral. In this case, they would also be natural numbers. As you realize that, you know, if the points are inside the triangle P, then x and y both have to be greater than 0. Isn't it? Because we are not talking of points on the sides of the triangle, we are talking of points inside the triangle, so x and y have to be natural numbers in this case, right? Positive integers, right? So we are talking of all x, y belonging to the set of natural numbers inside the triangle. That's what we want to be able to do. Yes or no? Now for sure, like I said, x, y would be greater than or equal to 1, natural numbers. Also, what's the equation of this line AB? X plus y equal to 102. Do you realize that? X plus y equal to 102 is the equation of this line. And what are we trying to do? We are trying to deal with this region. Points not on the sides, inside the triangle. We are trying to deal with this region, right? What is this region all about? This region is all about x plus y less than 102. Yes or no? This region is about x plus y less than 102, right? In which I want to identify xy greater than or equal to 1, right? I want to deal with this region. This region, do you realize, is x plus y less than 102? And obviously, within this region, I want to deal with only those xy's that are natural numbers, right? Yes or no? That means, to this inequality, I want to find the number of natural number solutions. I want to be able to find the number of natural number solutions to this equation. Yes or no? Right? Now, first things first. Do you realize this? I want to find number of natural number solutions to this equation. X and y are natural numbers less than 102. That means the highest value x plus y can take is 101. The highest value x plus y can take is 101. That means, can I not say that x plus y is less than or equal to 101? Can I say this? right? Now what I do is to convert this inequality into an equality. I'll convert this inequality into an equality. So this is like x plus y plus, say, z prime equal to 101, where z prime will be greater than or equal to 0. Do you understand what I have done here? So x plus y is less than or equal to 101. That means to x plus y, I can add a non-negative integer to make it equal to 101. Yes or no? Right? So where z prime is an integer. Z prime can be 0, z prime can be 1, z prime can be 2, and so on and so forth. Z prime is a non-negative integer. A non-negative integer, right? That's the equation. That means I want to find the number of solutions to this equation. I want to find the number of solutions to this equation where z prime can assume values like 0, 1, 2, 3. X and y will be natural numbers, right? What I do is, if z prime is a whole number, z prime is a whole number, right? If I add 1 to this whole number, it will become a natural number. It will become a natural number, right? So I convert this entire equation into variables involving only natural numbers. So I write this equation as x plus y plus z prime plus 1 equal to 102, right? Adding 1 to both sides, where now z prime plus 1 is a natural number. So this z prime plus 1, I call as z, which would be a natural number. If z prime is a whole number, z prime plus 1 will be a natural number. So then I want the number of natural number solutions to this equation, where z prime plus 1 I refer to as z. Yes or no? So what am I seeking? Number of natural number solutions to this equation. That's given by n minus 1 c r minus 1, right? The number of natural number solutions, if you recall, is given by n minus 1 c r minus 1. What is n in this case? 102. So that's going to be 101 c. R is 3. So 2. 101 c2. Right? And 101 c2 is what? 101 factorial by 99 factorial into 2 factorial. That's 101 into 100. 99 factorial will get cancelled. Divided by 2, 50. So that makes it 5050. There are 5050 points inside this triangle with integral coordinates. Yes or no? Right? Make sense? Good. Stand back. So the second problem is about whole numbers x and y and a natural number n, and x and y add up to n. What we are seeking is number of whole number solutions to this equation, given that x cannot exceed y. That's what we are seeking, right? X less than or equal to y. How many such solutions exist to this equation, right? Few things right away. Do you realize that since x cannot exceed y, x cannot be more than half their sum? X does not exceed y, so x cannot be more than half their sum? Yes or no? Which means, can I not say that x has to be always less than or equal to n by 2? Because if x is more than n by 2, y would have to be less than n by 2. In which case, x will become more than y. Yes or no? So x cannot exceed n by 2. But see, n by 2 need not be an integer. But n by 2 will have an integral value, right? So can I say, see, if n by 2 is an integer, this is all right. But if n by 2 is not an integer, this inequality would translate to x not exceeding integer part of n by 2. X not exceeding integer part of n by 2. Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? X not exceeding integer part of n by 2. Yes or no? That means the largest value of x is integer part of n by 2. The largest value of x is integer part of n by 2, box of n by 2, right? That's the largest value of x. That means, what are permissible values of x? This of course will be a whole number. Realize that? What are the permissible values of x? X can assume a value 0. X can assume a value 1. X can assume a value 2. And the largest integer value that x can assume is integer part of n by 2, box of n by 2. Yes or no? That's the largest value of x, right? That's it. That's it. And for each value of x, there will be a unique value of y. The unique value of y for every x here is going to be n minus x. Yes or no? Right? So every value of x that you see here will give me one solution. Will give me one solution. How many values of x are there? Well, 1. This is one value. Plus, how many more values? These are integer part of n by 2, right? Suppose this integer part of n by 2 is 10. Then 1 to 10. 10 values plus 1 value, 11 values. Suppose the integer part of n by 2 is 20. Then 1 to 20 would be 20 values plus 1 value, 21 values. So how many permissible values of x? 1 plus box of n by 2. These many values of x. And therefore these many solutions. These many solutions. These many solutions. These would be the number of solutions for x less than or equal to y. 1 plus box of n by 2. Sounds good? Right now? So the next situation is about these whole numbers x1, x2, x3, xr. And they are such that their sum does not exceed n, a natural number. Their sum does not exceed n, a natural number. The question is, how many sets of these xi's can be obtained satisfying this condition? Do you realize number of non-negative integral solutions to this inequality? So it would make sense to first convert an inequality into an equality, right? So I can add a whole number to this to make it equal to n. Yes or no? Since this is less than or equal to n, I could add a whole number to this to make it equal to n, right? So what I do is I convert this into by adding a dummy variable. So this is xr, I add a dummy variable xr plus 1, which is a whole number. So I end up getting x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus xr plus xr plus 1 is n, right? Where xr plus 1 will be a whole number greater than or equal to 0. Yes or no? So which means number of whole numbers satisfying this will be equal to the number of whole numbers satisfying this. So all that I need to do is number of whole number solutions to this equation. That will be the number of whole number solutions to this inequality. Yes or no? And number of whole number solutions to this equation is going to be given by n plus, instead of r you have r plus 1 minus 1 c r plus 1 minus 1, right? That will be the number of whole number solutions to this equation. So that makes it n plus r c r. That's the number of whole number solutions to this, and that will give me the number of whole number solutions to this inequality. Does it make sense to all of you, right? Problem is about these n consecutive numbers a1, a2, a3, an, right? And I want to select from these r I want to select R from amongst these so that no two are consecutive. Right? Remember the non-stopping station problem? Right? We'll convert this problem into that very problem, known problem. Right? What we do is, instead of dealing with what we have selected, let's deal with what we are not selecting. If we are selecting R, how many are we not selecting? N minus R. N minus R non-selected numbers, right? So N minus R non-selected. Right? Let me refer to them as first non-selected number, second non-selected number, third non-selected number, N minus R non-selected number. Yes or no? Right? And before this, say N minus R minus 1. These are N minus R non-selected numbers. Right? How many have to be selected? R have to be selected. Right? And every two selected must be separated by at least one non-selected so that no two selected are consecutive. Every two selected must be separated by at least one non-selected so that no two selected are consecutive. Yes or no? Right? That means the ones that are selected must belong to these spaces. These are permissible spaces. These arrows represent permissible spaces for the ones to be selected, because if the selected lie in these spaces, then no two selected would be consecutive. Yes or no? Right? So out of these arrows, how many do we want to select? R arrows. Because R selected numbers, R arrows have to be selected. Right? Yes or no? And how many of these arrows are there? Right? See, 1, 2, this would be N minus R minus 1, N minus R minus 1 and 2 at the ends. Right? So N minus R minus 1 plus 2 at the ends. So that makes it N minus R plus 1 arrows. These many arrows. These are permissible sites for selection of the R numbers. But from these many sites, how many sites do I want to select? R sites. In how many ways can I do that? N minus R plus 1, C R ways. From these many sites, the positions where these arrows are, I want to select R of these sites where the numbers are there, right? So N minus R plus 1, C R are the number of solutions. Yes or no? Is there some other way we can look at it? I'll show you another way to look at this problem. But I believe this would be the best. But just for the heck of it, let me show you another way to handle this. But so far so good, right? Clear? Now, can I wipe this off? Let me show you another way to handle this problem. See, what we could have done is, there could have been, this is the first selected, this is the second selected, this is, God bless you, third selected, fourth selected, R minus 1th selected, Rth selected. These are the R selected, right? These are the R selected, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm calling them 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That is just the index of these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are not the numbers. These are the index. That means our numbers are selected from these many. Right? Now, this is the first selected. And before the first selected, suppose there are x1 of these numbers. X1 of these numbers. Where x1 could have been 0, could have been 1, right? This could have been the first number selected, could have been A1 itself, right? So before the first selected, there could have been maybe no number, there could have been one number, could have been two numbers. In general, can I say that x1 has to be greater than or equal to 0? Yes or no? Before the first number that is selected, there could be maybe no number, there could be one number, there could be two numbers. So the number of numbers, x1 represents what? The number of numbers before the first selected. x1 is number of numbers before the first selected. Could have been 0 also, right? In the sequence, belonging to the sequence, right? Now, between the first number selected and the second number selected, suppose there are x2 numbers here. Between the first selected and the second selected, suppose there are x2 numbers. Now, x2 can't be 0. The number of numbers between the first selected and the second selected can't be 0, because otherwise 1 and 2 would become consecutive. So, can I not say that x2 has to be greater than or equal to 1? x2 will be a natural number, right? x2 would be a natural number, but x1 is a whole number, right? Similarly, between second and third, x3, number of numbers selected is x3, which also is a natural number. x4, this will also be a natural number. xr, this will also be a natural number. And the number of numbers after r, suppose r x r plus 1, which can be a whole number, because this could be the last number in the sequence. So this is greater than or equal to 0. xr plus 1 will be greater than or equal to 0. So which means x1 is greater than or equal to 0, xr plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, right? But x2, x3, xr, these are all natural numbers. These are all natural numbers. Yes or no? Now, can I not say that x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus xr plus xr plus 1, these are the numbers not selected? So they must add up to n minus r. They are the number of numbers not selected. They must add up to n minus r. Now, x1 is a whole number, so x1 plus 1 will be a natural number. xr plus 1 is a whole number, so xr plus 1 would be a natural number. So what I do is, I add 1 to this, so that this becomes a natural number. And the rest anyways are natural numbers. And to xr plus 1, also I add 1, so that this also becomes a natural number. And the right hand side then would be, instead of n minus r plus 2, because I have added 1 and 1, 2 on the left hand side, n minus r plus 2. Yes or no? So now I have like a x1 prime, which is a natural number. I call this x1 prime, right? Plus x2 plus x3 plus xr, and this also is a natural number now. So x prime r plus 1, I call it x prime r plus 1, is n minus r plus 2. So now all variables involved are natural numbers, right? And I want to find the number of natural number solutions to this equation. Instead of n, I have n minus r plus 2. Instead of r, I have r plus 1. So what will be the number of natural number solutions? N minus r plus 2 minus 1, right? N minus 1. C, r becomes r plus 1 minus 1. What is that? This is n minus r plus 1 C r. That will be the number of natural number solutions to this equation. Yes or no? Right? That's another way of looking at it. There could have been a few more also. Maybe you did it differently too. Have you done it differently? No? Anybody else who did this differently? If anybody comes up with a solution different from what I've done, please share it. It will value add to all of us. Okay? Stand by. Right, so just a slight variation over the previous problem. So this time we have A1, A2, A3, AN as points, discrete points selected on the circumference of a circle, right? And we want to be able to select from these n points on the circumference. We want to select R of these points. such that no two are consecutive, right? Now, what was the previous version of this problem? The previous version was, it's as if you cut this open at A1. Imagine this to be a thread, and you cut this open at A1 and straighten this up, right? Then you have this problem, isn't it? When you cut this, imagine this to be a thread, circular thread, snap it at A1. That's all right, there was a blast. Don't worry. Happy New Year once again. Don't hurt yourself, that's all. Don't worry. So, there had to be some New Year celebration in some form. You provided us that, right? I hope you've not hurt yourself with that. All right. So, coming back to quiet moments. So, these are endpoints on the circle, right? And I want to select R of them such that no two are consecutive, right? So, the previous version of this problem was when they were in a straight line, then the number of ways in which I could select R of them so that no two were consecutive was given by n minus R plus 1 CR, right? And you might be tempted to believe, and wrongly so, that if you cut this open, and it's as if I cut this open and it's a flexible wire and I straighten this up, it will get converted into this problem. The problem here is, in this case, if A1 and AN were linearly placed along a straight line, then in this selection, A1 and AN could have been simultaneously selected. A1 and AN could have been simultaneously selected, right? They were not neighboring points. They were not neighboring entities. But in this case, A1 and AN can't be simultaneously selected, right? Yes or no? So when I carry this count, n minus R plus 1 CR, this includes cases in which A1 and AN could have been simultaneously selected, yes or no? You know what I'm saying? Isn't it? In this, if A1 to AN were placed along a straight line, then the number of ways in which you could select R such that no two were consecutive was this. Did this include those cases in which A1 and AN were simultaneously selected? Yes, because they were anyways not consecutive, right? So this count included cases where A1 and AN were selected together, were selected simultaneously. Right? But when I come to this, it'll be the same count. But I'll have to remove those cases in which A1 and AN have been selected simultaneously. Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? This includes those cases in which A1 and AN have been selected together, right? This count, isn't it? Because they were not consecutive. In this, I would have the same count from which I will have to remove those cases. From this, I will have to remove those cases in which A1 and AN have been selected together. Yes or no? From this count, I will have to remove those cases in which A1 and AN have been selected together. Yes or no? Do you know what I'm saying? So, I'll look at this, I'll go back to the circle and I'll carry out a count. I'll carry out a count of selection of R things where A1 and AN have been selected together, but no other two are consecutive. Right? A1 and AN are selected. Let me do a count in which A1 and AN are selected. A1 and AN are selected, right? And the remaining, so I have to select R, right? The remaining R minus 2 have to be selected. R minus 2 to be selected from the circle, right? From the circumference. Remaining R minus 2 to be selected from the circumference with no two being consecutive. Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? With no two being consecutive. So now, if an and a1 have been selected, it prohibits me from selecting an minus 1, because then that an and this would become consecutive. So I can't select this. So I have to select r minus 2 more, right? I can't select an minus 1 and I can't select a2. Yes or no? That means now my processing window is not n minus 2, is n minus 4. Now I'll be left with n minus 4 numbers from where I have to select r minus 2. Yes or no? Now I'm left with remaining how many numbers? How many numbers? See, if a1 and an are selected, I can't select these two, because this and this are consecutive, this and this are consecutive, right? Right? a1 and an are selected. How many numbers remain? N minus 4 numbers remain, right? And from these n minus 4, how many do I need to select? R minus 2, because I've already selected 2. So from these, select r minus 2. And from n minus 4, I have to select r minus 2. Given that no two are consecutive. Given that no two are consecutive. From n minus 4 numbers now, see, now what I do is, I cut this open. A2 and an minus 1, I cut this open, and the remaining n minus 4 numbers are placed along a line. Remaining n minus 4 numbers are placed along a line, right? These are remaining n minus 4 numbers. Say x1, x2, xn minus 4 numbers, right? And I have to select how many? I have to select r minus 2, because I have already selected a1 and an. So I have to select r minus 2. I have to select r minus 2 from how many? N minus 4, given that no 2 should be consecutive from the remaining r minus 2 selected. Yes or no? So I'll use the same formula, except that instead of n, I'll have n minus 4. Instead of r, I'll have r minus 2. Yes or no? I'll use this formula itself. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I have n minus 4 numbers now spread out along a line, from which I will have to select r minus 2, so that no 2 are consecutive. That means I'll use this formula itself, except that n will become n minus 4, r will become r minus 2. Yes or no? So this can happen with no 2 being consecutive, would be n plus 4 minus r plus 2 plus 1, I'm sorry, r minus 2. R becomes r minus 2, C r minus 2. Yes or no? So this is how much? This is like 2 minus n minus 4. This is n minus 4, right? This is n minus 4, not n plus 4. So this becomes n minus r plus 1, right? Minus 1 minus 2 minus 1 minus 1 C r minus 2, right? Yes or no? So these were the total number of cases, and these were the cases in which a1 and an were together. I will have to remove those cases, right? From the total, I will have to remove those cases in which a1 and an are together, because on a circle, a1 and an can't be together. On a straight line, a1 and an could have been simultaneously selected, but on a circle, a1 and an can't be selected together. So for a circle, this would have been the case if I had allowed a1 and an to be selected together. But I'll have to remove those cases. How many cases are there where a1 and an are together? They are n minus r minus 1 C r minus 2 cases, right? So from these many cases, I will have to remove these cases. So how many would finally be retained? N minus r plus 1 C r would be what? Number of ways of selecting r things from these n, with no 2 being consecutive. But unfortunately, on a circle, this count includes those cases in which a1 and an are simultaneously present, right? Because this is like if they were on a straight line. But if you fold it, a1 and an would be together, and that would prevent a1 and an to be together, right? On a circle, a1 and an can't be together. On a straight line, you could have simultaneously selected. On a circle, they are neighbors. They couldn't have been simultaneous. So I will remove from this count those cases in which a1 and an are together. Yes or no? Right? So now look at this. So if A1 and AN are together, are selected, then these two can't be selected because they are neighbors of A1 and AN. So now my window reduces to not n numbers but to n minus 4 numbers, from which how many do I need to select? R minus 2, because 2 are already selected, which means R minus 2 have to be selected from n minus 4 with no 2 being consecutive. It reduces to this problem with n becoming n minus 4, R becoming R minus 2. This is the case. So from this, I will have to remove these cases because these are cases in which A1 and AN are simultaneously selected. So this then would be my count, n minus R plus 1 CR, from which I will have to remove this count, which is like n minus R minus 1 C R minus 2. This would be so now this sometimes there is a variation around this problem. Do you understand how I perform this count? Sometimes they will say, all right, this is a polygon. Right? Create a R-sided polygon with no side lying along the vertices, along the sides of a polygon, right? So in how many ways can you select R of these vertices? In these many ways you could select the R of these vertices, right? Do you understand? That problem will reduce to this problem. Actually, this problem will reduce to that problem in which, you know, I could have had a polygon and I want to select a polygon of R sides with no side lying along the sides of the given polygon, right? Which will be this count, isn't it? Clear? Problem numbers 6 and 7 relate to a situation where a number AN is formed, a n-digit number is formed. Number of n-digit numbers, AN is the number of n-digit numbers, formed using 0 and 1, such that no two consecutive digits are 0, such that no two consecutive digits being 0. That's AN. Out of these numbers, AN, there are a certain set of numbers that end with 1. And the number of such numbers are referred to as BN. Some of these ANs end with 0 and the number of such numbers are referred to as CN. Right? Do you all understand the problem? We need to be able to find B6, for example. We need to be able to find B6. Now, first of all, let's look at this. What is AN? AN is a string of digits with no two digits being no two consecutive digits being 0. And that string is formed only using 0 and 1. And the number of such strings are referred to as AN. Number of such numbers are referred to as AN, formed from 0 and 1 with no two being consecutively 0. They can be consecutively 1, they can be 1 0 0 1, but not 0 0 in the string, featuring anywhere in the string, right? Out of these, some end with 1. The number of such numbers ending with 1 are designated by BN. The count CN refers to those that end with 0. Now, these numbers will either end with 1 or will end with 0. There is no other possibility, right? There is no other possibility. That means the union of BN and CN will be AN. That's the complete set. The union of BN and CN would be AN, the set AN, right? That's for sure. That means the count for BN and the count for CN must be the count for AN. Is that guaranteed or not? There is no other possibility. There is no other possibility. Now, Let me look at Cn. Cn is what? A number that ends with 0. A number that ends with 0. N-digit number, Cn, includes those numbers. Cn is the count of those numbers, n-digit numbers, from this set that end with 0. That means the units place must be 0 for all these numbers. What is the only possibility for the tens place? 1. That's the only possibility. 1. So if 0 is fixed at the end of the string, then this has to be 1 only. So all numbers belonging to Cn, all count belonging to Cn must end with 1 0. Yes or no? An is what? Number of such n-digit numbers. What property do they enjoy? No two consecutive must be 0. Now, in Cn, this is a member of Cn. This is a member of Cn. Now, do you realize how many digits remain? N minus 2. N minus 2 digits remain. Right? In which I will have to arrange 1 and 0 with no two zeros being consecutive. Yes or no? I will have to arrange zeros with no two zeros being consecutive. Yes or no? That's what I need to be doing. Right? Now, if An is the count for n digits, then for n minus 2 digits, the count must be An minus 2. Yes or no? If An is the count for n digits, then the count for n minus 2 digits must be An minus 2. Yes or no? That means this Cn must be An minus 2. An is the count for n digits. An equivalent count for n minus 2 digits would be An minus 2 with the same property, right? Huh? Good. Now Bn. A member of Bn starts with 1, right? How many digits remain in this? N minus 1. And these spaces have to be filled up with what property? No two consecutive dots should be zeros. No two consecutive dots should be zeros. But now it's like An, instead of n, you have n minus 1. Yes or no? So the count for this would be An minus 1. The count for this would be An minus 1. So the count for this is An minus 1. Yes or no? Right? Which means Bn must be equal to An minus 1 and Cn must be equal to An minus 2. Yes or no? So can I say An, the count for n with the same property, is An minus 1 plus An minus 2, An minus 1 plus An minus 2. Can I say this? Yes or no? It's like Fibonacci sequence. It's like Fibonacci sequence. You know that, right? Similar property, right? And so now let me obtain A1. A1, that is for n equal to 1. What's the only possibility? 1. You can't have 0 because they're positive integers. Ans are all positive integers. So A1 must be equal to 1. If n is 1, you have to constitute a one-digit number using 0 and 1, which is positive. The only possibility is 1. So, you know what I'm saying? I'll repeat now. I'm saying, what is An? An is the count of those numbers, n-digit numbers, count of those n-digit positive numbers. N-digit, that means it has to be greater than 0. Count of n positive numbers in which no two zeros are consecutive, and An is formed only out of zeros and ones. So if I take n equal to 1, that means I want a one-digit number using 0 and 1, but a positive integer. What's the only possibility? 1. So so A1, the count for n equal to 1 is 1. A2, now, how many two-digit numbers can be formed? See, I can have 1 0. So I'm populating A2. This is one possible member of A2. Then 0 1. Then 1 1. That's it. That's it. Yes or no? So 3. Number of members in A2 is 3. Yes or no? With that property, no 2 being 0, consecutive being 0. And it has to be positive. Yes or no? So 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Two-digit numbers with no 2 being consecutively 0. Yes or no? Yeah, it's all right. The spaces, those n spaces, the first space can be 0. It's still 1, isn't it? It's still 1. This number is a positive integer, isn't it? It's 1. No, but it's an n-digit number now, so it's a 2-digit number. So I can still, so it's a string. Imagine an to be a string. Imagine an to be a string, right? So a2 then is 3. Do you realize that? a2 is 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 members belonging to the set a2. And then we are all set. a3 would be what? a2 plus a1? 4. What is a4? a4 would be a3 plus a2? 7. Yes or no? What is a5? a5 would be a4 plus a3? 11. What is a6? a6 would be a5 plus a4? 18. And so on and so forth. What would a7 be? 18 plus 11? 29. And so on and so forth, etc. So, what would b6 be? b6 is an minus, bn is an minus 1. So, that will be a5. b6 would be a5. Yes or no? And what is a5? 11. a5 is 11. 11. Got me? Does it match with an option? Stand by. Has anyone, yes, have you done something about it? What's your answer? 45 cubed. Let's see. I don't know the answer. We'll figure out. So we have two 3-digit numbers, a and b, a1, a2, a3, and b1, b2, b3. I want to be able to do a b minus a digit by digit, and it should not involve any borrowing. It should not involve any borrowing. How many pairs of AB can we conceive of such that b minus a involves no borrowing? Right? So, what is b? B is, say, b1, b2, b3, right? And from this, I want to subtract a1, a2, a3. Right? It's about suitably selecting b3 and a3 and selecting b2, a2 and selecting b1, a1. Right? So it's like in how many ways b3, a3 could be selected and b2, a2 could be selected and b1, a1 could be selected. Right? I'll have to multiply the 3 numbers to get such that there is no borrowing involved. Such that there is no borrowing involved. Right? Now, look at b3. b3 could have been 9, isn't it? b3 could have been 9. b3 could have been 9. Yes or no? No, b3, what did you not understand? The problem itself. The b3 9. No, b3 can be 9, isn't it, in a 3-digit number? It can be 8, it can be 7, right? Na? Got me, na? So, one possibility for b3 is 9. Now, if b3 is 9, a3 can be anywhere from 0 to 9. a3 can be anywhere from 0 to 9. Right? That means, in how many ways can I select a3? 10 ways. 10 ways I can select a3. For b3 equal to 9. For b3 equal to 9. Suppose b3 is 8. Then a3 can be selected from the set 0, 1, 2, 8 only, so that there is no borrowing. How many ways? 9 ways. Right? Suppose, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, right? Suppose it's b3 is 7. Suppose b3 is 7. Then a3 can be selected from the set 0, 1, 2 up to 7 only? Yes or no? Not 8 or 9, because if A3 was 8 or 9, then there would be borrowing involved, right? So how many ways? 8 ways. Similarly, if B3 is 6, A3 could be selected in 7 ways. Similarly, if B3 is 1, A3 can be selected in 2 ways. And if B3 is 0, A3 can be selected in only 1 way. A3 can only be 0. Yes or no? So that means the number of B3 A3 pairs are 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 1, right? So number of B3 A3 pairs would be 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 1. Yes or no? So which is like 10 into 11 by 2, which is 55. Number of B3 A3 pairs with no borrowing involved would be 55. Similarly, number of B2 A2 pairs would also be 55. In exactly the same way, number of B2 A2 pairs could also be 55. Good. Let me do a calculation of B1 A1 pairs, right? Do you all understand this? So, can B1 be 0? No. B1 can be 1. So, A1 can be then selected in only one way. A1 can't be 0 because A1 also can't be 0. Right? Because then it will become a 2-digit number. Yes or no? So, and B1 also can't be 0. B1 has to be at least once. Then A1 can only be 1. A1 can only be 1. So, there is only one way A1 can be selected. Suppose B1 is 2. Then A1 can be selected in how many ways? 1 and 2? 2 ways? 1 and 2? 2 ways. If B1 is 3, then A1 can be what all? A1 can be 1, 2, 3? 3 ways. Similarly, when B1 is 9, right? Then A1 similarly can be 1 to 9, anything? 9 ways. Right? So there is 1 A1 B1 pair from here, 2 A1 B1 pairs, 3, 9. So how many A1 B1 pairs? Number of A1 B1 pairs is going to be 1 plus 2 plus 9, right? Which makes it 9 into 10 by 2, 45. Yes or no? Yeah, 45, right? That means the count would be number of ways in which A1 B1 could be selected, which is 45, into number of ways in which B2 A2 could be selected is 55, into number of ways in which B3 A3 could be selected is 55. So that makes it 45 into 55 squared. So the only mistake you would have made is you would have assumed that, well, A1 B1 could be 0. That's why you got 55 cubed, right? That's the answer you got now. But it's all right. Makes sense to all of you, right? So the next problem is about a 3-digit number XYZ, right? And there are 5 cases, and for each of these we want to find how many 3-digit numbers exist, prevalent, commensurate with each of these cases, right? You understand the problem? So now I'm seeking in the first situation all 3-digit numbers XYZ, where X less than Y less than Z, where X less than Y less than Z. This is what we are seeking, right? Surely X is greater than 0. If X is greater than 0, then Y, which is greater than X, will also be greater than 0. Z, which is greater than X, will also be greater than 0, isn't it? Because now we have X greater than 0, less than Y, less than Z. So X, Y, Z are all greater than 0. None of them can be 0. That means in this case. Yes or no? That means X, Y, Z would not be selected from 0 to 9. X, Y, Z would be selected from this set 1, 2 up to 9. 0 is ruled out in constituting these 3-digit numbers. Now all that you need to do is, out of these 9 digits, select only 3. Right? 9C3? Right? And then there is only one way. There is only one way in which you can arrange them in the order x less than y less than z. So 9C3 numbers, yes or no? I'll repeat, kya? I'll repeat. I'm saying x, y, z would have to be selected from this set. They are all different. In how many ways can you select 3 distinct digits from this? 9C3 ways. Right? For each of these 9C3 ways of selecting 3 numbers, how many x, y, z's would be there where x less than y less than z? Hey, there is only one way, because, right, given 3 different digits, there is only one way in which you can arrange them in the order x less than y less than z. So x, y, z. So there are 9C3 numbers here, x less than y less than z, right? Right? Look at this case. X less than or equal to y less than z then. So this is like union of 2 cases. Union of x equal to y less than z, right? Union x less than y less than z. We will have to sum up these two. We'll have to sum up these two. X equal to y less than z, x equal to y less than z, and x less than y less than z. I have to find the number of 3-digit numbers with this and number of 3-digit numbers with this. But this I already know is 9C3. I know the count for this, which we have already done. That's going to be 9C3 plus. Now, again, x equal to y less than z. That means again both greater than 0. Because x can't be equal to 0, so x and y both greater than 0. So z also has to be greater than 0. So essentially, it will be only about selecting 2 digits. Say x and z, because y is equal to x. So I'll have to only select 2 digits from 1 to 9. So from 9, in how many ways can I select 2 digits? 9C2 ways. So this is 9C2 plus 9C3. Yes or no? Hey, NCR plus NCR minus 1 is n plus 1 CR. So this can be written as 10C3. This can be written as 10C3. Right? Let's look at the next one. So far so good, right? Now, this is union of the following cases. X equal to y equal to z. Right? Union x less than y less than z. Right? Union x equal to y less than z. X equal to y but less than z. And then, so this case, and x less than y equal to z is this case. Yes or no? These are the 4 cases. Right? Yes or no? Now, x equal to y equal to z. 9C1, you'll have to just select 1 from 1 to 9. So that's 9C1. This will be 9C1. Right. Do it. Now, x less than y less than z. 9C3. So this is 9C3. X equal to y less than z. 9C2. We have figured that out. 9C2. And x less than y equal to z. 9C2. Absolutely, this is also 9C2. So now if I add all of these, hey, realize that NCR plus NCR minus 1 would be n plus 1 CR. So this plus this would be 10C2. NCR plus NCR minus 1 would be n plus 1 CR. So that will be this and this. When I add, that will give me 10C2 plus. Now, NCR plus NCR minus 1 would be n plus 1 CR. So this and this when I add will give me 10C3. 10C3. Hey, but again, NCR plus NCR minus 1. That will be n plus 1 CR. So that's going to be 11C3. 11C3. Yes or no? Right now? Okay. Now, case 4. Case 4. This one I'm writing here because I don't have enough room there. X greater than or equal to y greater than z. Can I remove the clutter from here? We're done with this part. X greater than or equal to y greater than z. It's now union of two cases. X equal to y greater than z, or x greater than y greater than z. Yes or no? Now realize that in this case 0 I can include, because z can be 0. If 0 is, there are 3 digits that I am selecting from 0 to 9. Okay? There are 3 digits that I am selecting from 0 to 9. If one of the digits turns out to be 0, then that can be z. That can be z. So not a problem. Isn't it? So of the 3 digits, if I have selected one of the digits as 0, and then arrange them in this order x, y, z, then z must be 0. Right? The other 2 would obviously be greater than 0. Right? So it's now about selecting 3 from 10. Right? There are 10 digits, I want to select 3. So this would be 10C3. Now, in this 10C2, because I have to select x and z only. So 10C2. Yes or no? So this would be 10C2. NCR plus NCR minus 1 is n plus 1 CR. So that makes it 11C3. That's this. Case 4. Right? Yes or no? Clear? Now case 5. Case 5 is x less than y greater than z. That means y is larger than x and z. That means the middle digit is the largest. Middle digit is the largest. Yes or no? Middle digit is the largest. Right? And again, they are all distinct. They are all distinct. So, what's the smallest middle digit possible? 2. It can't be 1. Because if it is 1, then the 2 neighboring digits would have to be 0 only. Now that's not true. So y can be, y minimum can be 2. Right? So suppose there is a digit n here. Digit n here. So for y, n min would be 2. N min would be 2 for y. Suppose y is some n here. Y is some n here. Where n is greater than or equal to 2 but less than or equal to 9. Y is some n where n can be greater than or equal to 2 but less than or equal to 9. Do you understand this? Okay. Now, if for a given n lying in this interval, it's about how many xz pairs exist. Okay, if y is n, x is less than n, how many possible values of x? If y is some n, x can't be 0. X can be 1 to n minus 1 because x is less than y. X less than n. So what are permissible values of x? 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1. So how many permissible values of x? N minus 1 permissible values of x. Yes or no? For a given y to be n, if y is selected as some fixed number n, then in how many ways can I select n? X. N minus 1 ways. 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1. Okay. In how many ways can I select z? N ways, because z can be 0. So z can be 0, 1, 2 up to n minus 1. So there are n ways of selecting z. There are n minus 1 ways of selecting x. So if y is n, right? If y is n, in the 3-digit number, if y is n, then for a given n, the number of numbers x, y, z that can exist would be n minus 1 into n would be the number of numbers possible. if y is some n, then the number of x and z pairs that exist would be these many, n minus 1 ways of selecting x and n ways of selecting z, right? So now, for a given n, but n can be 2, n can be 3, n can be 4. That means I'll have to sum it up for n equal to 2, for n equal to 3, n equal to 4, n equal to 9. These are all acceptable values of y. That means I'll have to carry out this summation for n equal to 2 to 9. That will be the required xyz's with the middle digit being the highest. Yes or no? Hey, if I started with n equal to 1, will it make a difference? Because for n equal to 1, anyways it's 0. Isn't it? The value of this expression is 0 for n equal to 1. So this is the same as n minus 1 into n equal to 1 to 9, because I've only added 0 to this summation. Isn't it? For n equal to 1, the value of this term would be 0 anyways. Right? So this is the summation that I need to deal with. So this is like summation n squared minus summation n equal to 1 to 9, and this is n equal to 1 to 9. This is what? Sum of the squares of the first n natural numbers for n equal to 9. This is the sum of the first n natural numbers for n equal to 1 to 9. Sum of the squares is what? N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 for n equal to 9, right? I have to find. So how much is it? 9 into 10 into 19 by 6. How much is it? 2, 3, 570 by 2, 285, right? 285 is this. So this term turns out to be 285. Minus sum of the first n natural numbers, 9 natural numbers would be 9 into 10 by 2, which is 45. So minus 45, that makes it 240. 240 is the required count. Got me? Talking of a very uninteresting Indo-Pak series, and it's known that, so they're going to play test matches, all right, and the only two outcomes are win and lose, right? A team can win and the other one will lose. Now it's a special series, so the series will last till such time the first team wins 5 matches. One of the teams is going to win 5 matches and the series gets suspended then and there, right? The question is, in how many ways can this all happen, right? Now, realistically, only one way. Like I said, India winning the first 5, finish. Pakistan back home. But theoretically, give them some benefit of doubt. In how many ways can a team win 5 matches and this series over, right? So I designate the first match by M1, the second match by M2, the third match by M3, the nth match by Mn, right? One very simple little observation in this context of the problem is that eventually the maximum number of matches that can be played is 9, isn't it? Because if 9 matches are played, one team would have certainly won 5 matches, right? So sure, it doesn't go up to 10 matches. The series gets suspended at the 9th match, right? No more matches after this. So for sure, maximum number of matches could be 9, right? So now there are a number of ways in which India would have won 5 of these matches, or there are ways in which Pakistan would have won 5 of these matches, and they are, right? So India winning the series India win is like selecting 5 of these 9 matches in these many ways. Yes or no? Or it could be Pak win. That's 9c5. Very theoretical. This will not happen. We have to stop here. And we will not have to go to the 9th match. Like I said, the 5th match, game over. Series over. But India win in 9c5 ways, or Pak win in 9c5 ways. So this plus this. So 2 into 9c5. 2 into 9c5. Whatever this turns out to be. Have you done this calculation? 2 into 9. Huh? You've done. How much? 126 into 2. So that makes it 252, right? So 252 ways. 9c5 ways in which India wins. 9c5 ways in which Pakistan wins. This is only theoretical. Alright? This is only figment of our imagination. Stand by. One problem is again about 5 cricket matches. And each match could end in a win, a lose, or a draw, right? For a team, for a certain team, it could be a 3 outcomes, right? 3 outcomes for a given team. Win, it loses, or it draws the match. So now the first part of the problem is how many different forecasts would be made, right? So a forecast has to come from these outcomes only. So for any given match, you would have 3 possible forecasts. You'll either claim it's going to be a before the match. Forecast is what takes place before the match, right? So you could make a forecast for M1 in how many ways? 3 ways, because you could say before the match it could be a win, lose, or a draw. 3 ways for M1. 3 ways for M2. 3 ways for M3. 3 ways for M4, 3 ways for M5. So that makes it 3 to the power 5 ways. 81, 243. So 243 forecasts and all are possible. Right? There are 243 forecasts in all. Are there 4 matches or 5 matches? This is it. This is it. It's not debatable, right? There are 243 forecasts and all. Okay. Now, of these 243 forecasts, so a forecast is combination of all of them, you know. So this is combined forecast. It's not forecast for one match, it's a forecast for the series, right? So a forecast made for all the 5 matches put together could contain no error, could contain 1 error, could contain 2 errors, 3 errors, 4 errors, all 5 errors, right? All possible. So now 0 error, a forecast made with 0 error. In how many ways a forecast could be made with 0 error? How many ways? 5c5, 1 way? No error? 1 way? 1 way? A forecast containing no error. No error, right? There is only 1 way, isn't it? Only 1 way, right? I've made all right forecasts. So there is only 1 way, 0 error. Okay. Yes or no? A forecast made with 1 error. That means one of the matches is wrongly predicted. One of the matches is wrongly predicted. So first you'll have to select that match. So out of 5 matches, you'll have to select 1 match in 5 ways. But the error can happen in 2 ways. There is 1 right outcome but 2 wrong outcomes, right? So the error can happen in 2 ways because there are 3 outcomes of which 1 is right but 2 are wrong. So for each match, there can be 2 ways of making an error, right? Yes or no? So into 2, that makes it 10 ways. One match selected in 5 ways. This is the match in which a forecast is made inappropriately. So that match can be selected in 5 ways. And then the 2 errors that could be made in this match is 5 into 2. That makes it 10 ways in all. Yes or no? Right? Now 2 errors. That means 2 matches are wrongly predicted. So first select the 2 matches. That's 5C 2 ways. And for each of the matches, 2 possibilities for error. So 2 into 2, that makes it 2 squared. So 4 into 10, that makes it 40. Yes or no? Right now? So 3 errors means you'll have to select the 3 matches in which the errors are made. And then the error for each match could be in 2 ways. So 2 into 2 into 2, that makes it 2 cubed. 8 into 10, that is 80 ways. Right? Then 4 matches in which an error is made. 5C4, select the 4 matches, 5C4 ways, and then error 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, etc. 4 times. So that's 2 to the power 4, 16 into 5, that is 80. Yes or no? Five C5, only 1, and 2 to the power 5, that makes it 32. So these are the total number of ways in which forecasts with 0 error, 1 error, 2 errors, 3 errors, etc. Yes or no? So then, one last to make your new year happier. So there are these 3 people gambling during the new year, throwing a dice each, and they're throwing a dice in a manner that their sum adds up to 15. Sum adds up to 15. X1 is the outcome of the dice thrown by P1, X2 outcome of the dice thrown by P2. So each of these xi's can assume values like 1 to 6. Question is, in how many ways can this be done? It's only about number of solutions to this equation given this condition. It's only about number of solutions to this equation given this condition. Yes or no? Right? Now what I do is I transform this a little bit, and you'll see the reason why I do this transformation. Any of these xi's I write as some yi, or say 7 minus yi, where yi's will now take values like 1, 2, 3, 6. Y's will take values like 1, 2, 3, 6. Yes or no? Right? What happens then? What happens then? Xi is 7 minus, x1 is 7 minus y1, x2 is 7 minus y2, x3 is 7 minus y3. That's 15. Where these yi's are natural numbers. Yi's are natural numbers. Yes or no? So y1 plus y2 plus y3, 21 minus 15, 6. Right? Now you'll have to, there is also a catch here, and I want you to identify and fix that catch. But right now I'll tell you a bare solution to this problem, but I want you to identify what the catch is. The solution is right, but there is something that I'm keeping away from you. Let me see if you can identify that and resolve it yourself. But for the time being, y's are natural numbers, and I want to find number of natural number solutions to this equation. And that's going to be 6 minus 1, C, 3 minus 1, that is 5C2, which is 10, using the transformation. Right? Stand by.